Welcome back and thanks for staying with us. This evening, Deputy President David Mabuza will be the guest speaker at the 8th African Leadership Magazine Person of the Year Award Investiture. Among those honoured will be Dr Akinwumi Adesina. We've spoken to him before here on the show, President of the African Development Bank. Egypt's President Abdel Fattah el-Sisi for political leadership, and Businessman Patrice Motsepe for his philanthropy and charitable contributions to society. The winners in the number of categories are recognized for impactful leadership. This year's African Female Leader of the Year is Egyptian Rawya Mansour, founder of the RAMSCO Company, for her efforts towards reducing unemployment and creating opportunities for millions of Africans. Did I say your name correctly?
Exactly, it's Rawya.
Rawya
Mansour.
Mansour.
Yes.
Congratulations.
Thank you so much. That's a great honor.
Tell us about your work that warranted this recognition.
It has been like I was an interior designer. I'm Egyptian, as you know, and my works were published in lots of magazines in England, the United States, and Greece. And 10 years earlier, I discovered that God created me for a better cause, and this was to try to alleviate poverty and find solutions for climate change. So I read a lot about sustainable development and green economies, and decided to invest into food security and into agriculture, sustainable agriculture.
It's the topic of the times, isn't it? Climate change. Didn't you struggle when you went in with, on the one hand, as you say, you read a lot about it.
Yes.
The academic side of it, and on the other hand, the practical side of it, where real work has to be done on the ground.
When I started talking about the environment and the importance of environment for all of the world, the Earth and our mother Africa, I wasn't very nicely received. They used to think that environment is a luxury. We're talking about luxury here, and it has nothing to do with poverty alleviation. But I think that bad environment and bad infrastructure and poverty are highly linked together. They're two faces of the same coin.
Yeah.
So I decided to invest into agriculture, knowing that one of the biggest problems we have in Africa is the scarcity of water, and Egypt also suffering from that problem, as per capita we only have 600 cubic meters per capita, and the normal rate is 1,000. So I decided to invest into agriculture and was able to obtain several patents in 24 countries about saving water and about recycling. Recycling is one of the also very important issues that we have to do in Africa for solid waste management and for the agricultural waste.
You must be having a lot of impact. I mean, you're recognized among some global leaders.
Yes.
In which countries are you active?
I'm only active now in Egypt, but I also have a company in Monaco where, because they're very conscious about environment and saving the environment, especially Prince Albert. So I did there an association, and I have a company. And also in Egypt, I have my personal company where we produce now around 30 cash crops. And we have the full value chain. We distribute our products to the supermarkets. Yeah. But this is not my vision. My complete vision is a holistic eco-village, which I would call an entrepreneurial zero-waste eco-villages, where everything is going to be recycled for food security. As you know, that Africa, up till now, we still import around $27 billion worth of food. I think we can be autonomous, and definitely we should be autonomous. And this also, in Egypt, we have 45% of the agricultural employment is from women. So this is giving women empowerment. And the more I read and the more I worked into it, I discovered that my project ticks the 17 goals of the 2030
of the United Nations,
of the SDG goals, because we couldn't reach them with the MDG. I hope that we will reach them with the SDGs.
I'm interested, though, in your research, what have you found to be the gaps in terms of food security when Africa has so much arable land?
I think it's lack of water, as I said previously. And the second thing is also the know-how, the capacity building. There must be a lot of capacity building. The third is that 45% of the crops are being wasted after after the harvesting.
Yes.
We have post-harvest problems.
So as an interested party, are you taking part at all in the conversation about water between Egypt and Sudan, where Sudan is seeking to build its own water infrastructure, but there are blockages there because Egypt has more rights to the usage of the Nile than most countries?
Well, I'd like to highlight something, that we had a treaty with Sudan and I think with Ethiopia in the year 2023. We were 10 million people, and we have
Populations have grown now.
Well, yeah, we were 9 million people, and now we're 100 million people, and we still
Tenfold.
have, yes, and it was
Tenfold
55 cubic meters of water, and we still have the amount, and now they want to deprive us. This is depriving us of our lives.
How do you mean they're depriving us? They're depriving Egypt of the water?
Yes, exactly.
So what are the solutions? What are the solutions for Sudan and for Ethiopia? What can be the solutions there?
I think, I don't know, I'm not a politician, and I'm not allowed to speak as a politician, but I think if...
just as a person who's involved in this space, not necessarily as a politician.
I think maybe if we're talking about development and the problem is electricity, then we can find solutions for renewable energy to solve that problem of electricity.
And perhaps not use water as a source.
And not use water as a source.
Yeah.
And I think this is doable.
It's a huge conversation, isn't it?
Yes, yes.
Yeah, and you have to think about it as a person who's actively involved in agriculture.
Yes, exactly. My farm is in the Egyptian Research Center. I work with very bad water. The salinity is 2,400, which is impossible to plant with, and I have to strive. So imagine now per capita we're 600, and another by 2025 will be 300 per capita. So this is, you know, it's like telling the Egyptian people, sorry,
I find it so interesting that I'm speaking to you as an individual and you feel like Egypt is being deprived, and it just gives you a sense of the conversation, how it goes when it's at a higher level and politicians have to take those decisions.
Yes, that treaty was in 2023, and it's still going on.
And they still don't have a
100
resolution.
million, and they don't have a solution. But I think investors and entrepreneurs and governments should collaborate, because Africa, we're one continent. And
why aren't you involved?
I'm a private sector and an entrepreneur, and I'm a woman.
Yeah. All right, let's talk about the significance of your win for women on the continent.
Well, I must tell you that that day, special day, it was a desperate day for me, because my dream is to create eco-villages throughout Africa to employ the millions of people who have to migrate to other parts of the world. So that day I was desperate. I said I will stop my project. I look into my phone and I find in the junk that I have received the female leader of Africa. So that was a message from God that I should continue, and I shall continue. It was a booster for me.
What are the challenges that you're faced with?
The challenges are finding the land, because my studies or my feasibilities are finding around land for 1,000 acres for the village. And if in Egypt, I did a study with the waste we have. If we have enough, if we create 234 villages, we'll employ up to 10 million people. So imagine how would this change the lives of Africans. Yeah. If we employ it throughout the whole continent. And this will also, because one of the patents I have is biochar, which is green charcoal. For every ton that you put in the ground, it sequestrates 2.5 carbon dioxide from the air. So just imagine if we can able to plant all the desert around Africa. This will definitely adapt to climate change, other than women empowerment too. So you receiving this award tonight? Yes, in South
alongside
Africa.
Your president.
Exactly.
That must be a really huge honor for you.
It's a great honor to be.
Well, he won't be here, but he's one of the recipients.
He's the recipients, and he won it through for democracy. He's done a lot for the infrastructure of the people. I'm proud to be here in Johannesburg, taking my.
Welcome.
Thank you.
And you look lovely, by the way.
Thank you so much. Thank you. It's a pleasure to be here in your beautiful country, and I was happy to know that in the future, the coming emerging markets are Egypt, South Africa, and Nigeria. So we have great hopes of a better Africa.
Thank you so much once again for coming through to talk to us. Rawya Mansour is a founder of RAMSCO Company, and she has won an award for her efforts towards reducing unemployment and creating opportunities for millions of Egyptians and Africans by extension. You're watching The Agenda. We'll take a look at sports when we return from this break.